Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of XR Talk Show. Today is May 11th, Saturday, 2019. And so here's cheers. There is a 5-second lag here. So today we're going to talk about sundry random things, okay? We might talk about news website, when to click a website, how to judge a site's quality, whether it's fake news or something you can trust, or how I go about on these kind of things. Where do I get information? So that's one thing. Or maybe we can talk about Lisp programming language syntax problems. The nested parentheses. What are the issues? Things like that. And we talk about Lisp macros and pattern matching. Now, in the case of Lisp macros and pattern matching, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm going to tell you what they are in the great context of things, the programming language design syntax kind of things in that background. Or we can talk about, I go to my Twitter and there are tons of subjects. So basically, there are two type of subjects, for the show. Technical topics like programming languages, programming related stuff. This is energy drink. This is power water. Power. I've been addicted to this thing for like I've been drinking this for like 4 years, 5 years actually, every day. So in a sense, I'm actually addicted to it, which is no good. I used to drink the sugared ones, the ones with sugar. Never do that. They do bad things to your body. In my life, I never drink sugared stuff, such as Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, 7 Up. I never drink any of those. I never drink anything that drink with sugar in it. But however, because of the energy drink, I started to drink the sugared ones about 5 years ago. And I did that for 3 or 4 years, and they are bad. They do things to your body, they do things to your skin. For example, cellulite, when you have your ass, women usually, like your legs, you have this ugly skin, cellulite, whatever they call it. And I noticed I started to have that. When you drink sugared water, you drink that a lot every day. Every day. So I stopped drinking sugared ones, and now I'm drinking the sugar-free ones, energy drink. Still, yeah, I don't think it's not really a good thing. But by the way, don't go to the other stream thinking that it is terrible. It's essentially it's caffeine. They have caffeine and stuff, bunch of stuff. London, good morning. Just found your channel. Thank you. So what is it? How did you find my channel? What is it that attracts you? So are you a programmer? Are you in my channel to because for programming topics or the other random things? So let's see how am I doing. I'm alive. Yes, indeed. So this is OBS software. When you do videos, you have to streaming and you have to use this software. This is an open source one. Okay, let's get back to 4 watching. Fantastic number. 4 is the fantastic 4. that the number 4 represents the superhero group Fantastic Four. Okay, so and also where are you from? Like what country are you watching from? So what topic, guys? Let's pick a topic. So first of all, is it gonna be technical talk? Do you like to see today technical talk or non-technical? Technical meaning programming related. Lisp, anything. You can ask me Emacs and Python, Perl stuff. Or non-technical would be anything goes. Linguistics, society. So I'm thinking maybe we do a yeah. So yeah, so guys. So since we have four people watching, let me know what technical or non-technical. Like type it. Let me know. So got killed in Fortnite by a player with a name Xahyt. So I looked up the name. Wow, that's strange. Okay, so um, oh, you are in Japan. That's amazing. So you are not typical, not a typical follower, of my audience. You see, I'm a nerd. I'm a programming nerd. So I don't know if you would be much interested in my talk show because I usually talk about programming stuff. I love gaming, but I haven't been, I'm kind of old. I haven't been gaming for like 10 years. But I've been, I'm a gamer, what you call, since I was a teen. That is 1980s, you have arcade video games. And, I'm one of the, I'm a very serious, gaming addict. Not like today's, because today's you have different games. But back then, since 1980s, when I was a teenager, 10, 11, up to, age 40s. So whenever I play a game, I have to like complete the whole thing. I play a non-stop, not eating, non-stop for 10 hours and wake up and do it again. It's like that. So I've been doing that, much of my life. But then the last game, like today's kind of game, social, what's called massive online networked game. I played that. The one I played is a Second Life. You may have heard of it. Heard of it? You may not have. Sorry, Second Life. That's quite different from these Fortnite or other Team Fortress or whatever. So Second Life, but it is a online virtual world. So at any moment you have 100,000 people online doing all sort of things, including gunfighting. Like these are furries. The creativity is amazing in this virtual world. So it's actually far more creative in Fortnite. I never seen Fortnite actually. I just read, I know that it is like the most popular game today. Young people play. But anyway, Second Life, because Second Life is built by people, so the creativity is far greater than the Fortnite kind of things. So all these people, these are furries. Okay, these are so in Second Life we have there are all sort of communities. There are sex, there are first person shooters. There's adventure. There's role playing all sort of things. Westerns, Wild West or historical. All kind of in all kind of eras. And you know but one of the community is first person shooter where you have team shooting all kind of different types. For example, you have one versus one or team versus team, but there is I'm not sure there is a one where you take the enemy's fortress. So like anyway, so all these are created by people. So in these first-person shooter games, you have different groups. What different armies. Or so one of these armies is this what's their name? This team. Anyway, they and also in this you have lots of furries. Furries Good morning, Isaac. So you are in Japan, so that's great. Oh, you live in America. So the next question is, were you born in America, or how young did you came to America? Because then that's a huge difference, cultural upbringing, cultural difference. So you saw YT. Okay, I don't know. The my name XAH. That is name I created for myself, and it is also my real ID, my driver's license California ID. But and that is rather rare. But so sometimes people use my name. So I don't know if this is a case or it's just a random guy. Because online let's see. Okay, so let's go back to get the topic. Close that for people. And I'm going to talk about Isaac. So Isaac, what represent death? So Isaac, should it be technical topic or non-technical? Otherwise, I'm just going to go random. Okay, so these are my four. Number four. Number four, as in, let's see. Uh, Wait, where is it? How about a topic on how I can become smarter? Smarter. One, two, three, four. Oh, my Twitter. So was it Twitter you are thinking? Let's go to Twitter then. How to be smarter? You can. I don't think you can. I mean, not like as far as IQ goes. That intelligence. The intelligence has become controversial topic. Some people say it doesn't exist. I think it's absolutely exist. You know, although they are colorful takes exactly what you mean, but intelligence such a what. So what does that mean? Intelligence. It basically just means how good you can do math. Okay, that's basically what it means. How good you can do math in a natural way. For example, there are many math quizzes that does not require you to know calculus, but just a math question, how you can analyze such situation, and that's intelligence, and it obviously exists. Okay, so it exists so much such that everyone understand it. There are people who are who are called I think it's called morons technically. No, no, what's the word? Imbecile. Okay, like the medical technical name. I think imbecile. That means people with very low IQ. And some people are born like that. They are disabled. So-called disabled. Sometimes they also have motor function disabilities, like they they cannot talk, or have difficulty control their muscles. But anyway, as you know that exists. You cannot say, oh, they are smart. You know it's obviously, and different people, like when you talk about programming tools, go out, talk, see the people on the street. You try to talk about programming with them. You will see the meaning of intelligence. Okay, so like some people, like I live with, I know, I work in restaurants. I've been washing dishes. You talk to those people. They don't have the concept. They use their phone too, right? Today, just like everyone has a phone, and some of them actually use iPhone, the expensive ones. You talk to them, many of them, okay, you try to teach them what is copy and paste. and for a lot of them they will never get it. It's like almost doesn't matter how many hours you try to teach them, because I had roommates like 10 years ago, like people are like that, you copy and paste, they just, they will not, the concept is just, they don't get it after, hours, days after day, month, they do not get the concept of copy paste, they cannot do it, you know that's reality. So there's the so that is the why the so IQ exists. Okay, those social justice guns, they are just fuckheads. They are just, they are today. They are like criminals. They are intentionally this, and it's getting worse. Okay, they are creating a situation. They are, cooking, frying on the race, on sex, on issues. That is a technique, a tactic to intentionally create disruption in society, because some of these issues such as IQ, sex, race, that can never be solved. That's part of humanity. That is how we live, how society forms, how we thrive, how we live. Okay, that can never be solved. I'm not going to go into details, like, like some of the typical white people style. They would, start to maybe cite things, that and intelligently or rationally discuss what IQ means, or what the definition, or sometimes why it's good, or how it relates to, that's typical white man style of talking. Okay, I'm borrowing the social justice scan of using the phrase white people. Okay, yeah, they are white people. All these. But anyway, typically, yeah, that's the Western style. Okay, of thinking, of talking. But anyway, intelligence, it's obviously there. Okay, so the social justice scan, of course, they don't like this idea. Now, as far as the, okay, they don't like that idea. So I'm not going to go too deep, too much into this, because I'm putting some restraints on self censorship, because it's Google is going to ban me, if I talk too much about this. But anyway, the issues like sex, race, the social justice scan, what they are doing. That's, because I study marketing, brainwashing, code, thought control, propaganda. They are all related topics. I've been having, I have a obsessive interest in these topics throughout my life for 30 years now. Because when I was 19, when I was 20 or 21, I actually went to work for Scientology. Um, I didn't know, but I went to Scientology because they began with a psychology test, personality test, this personality test, things like that. They are one of the attraction to get you into things. That's, very popular, and also vote online, like you can select what who you know that's one of the also popular tactics to attract your attention. But anyways, Saudi, uh, SCIENTOLOGY. Okay, so you can read this article. So I happen to work for Scientology, because I need a job. It began with a personality test, and I always loved that. Um, so I have several articles on Scientology you can read, and this article discussed my experience. So in 1991 or 1990, I actually went to work for Scientology, and it's not actually working, but yeah, actually they just cheated my money. They just, I worked for them almost like free. And anyway, I have details on this page, and there are several other pages about Scientology, about, so I have obsession about study all these subjects, codes, propaganda, brainwashing, marketing techniques, how to influence people. All these are related. How are they related? They are related by, they are all about changing opinions, other people's opinion. Okay, for example, marketing is changing other people's opinion to try to get them to buy things. So to buy your book, to buy your TV products, or whatever. Okay, that's marketing. So they are focused on changing other people's thoughts about giving you money. Basically, that's marketing. So Apple does it. The greatest success of Apple's marketing is the 1984, where you have a girl smashing the giant screen, and also think different. Remember that slogan around 2004, think different. That's grammatically incorrect phrase, but it's a huge success. It's a celebrated marketing incident. Marketing is a big giant billion-dollar business. Google, Facebook, they spend millions studying the subject. So anyway, that's marketing. Propaganda is related. Propaganda means influence people, typically your enemy. Okay, influence people in a massive scale. That's what propaganda means. Okay, usually with the connotation of false or fake things. Like you want your enemies in a massive scale. You want to change their mind so that they believe something that usually is not true. That's what propaganda means. So it's also about changing people's mind. Marketing, propaganda influence people. Psychology influence people, and also being politicians. When you negotiate, when you talk about a deal, when you how they call it, being smooth, being tact, you know. So that's also part of it. So what does that mean? That means, negotiation is a common situation in life. In business, in politics, in anything. When you go for a job, when you work for a company, there's an interview. Then you have to talk about salary, how much you get paid. That's a negotiation. Okay. By the way, how much you get paid really has nothing to do with how good you are. It mostly has to do with how you negotiate, how you are able to talk. It's all about that. That's why it's so important. So negotiation. So what it is about, it is also how it relates to changing other people's view. Negotiation. For example, I want to sell you something, my used computer. Okay, I have a used computer. I want to sell it to you, or keyboard. Okay, and you want to buy it, but how much? Well, that's up to negotiation. So I want to talk to you. So you want it cheap. I want to sell the expense. I want to sell you $150. Let's say you want it to be like, let's say 100. But there's no really price tag. Like there's no God actually say this is worth 150. In real life, there's nothing like that. All prices are just kind of any price, diamonds, cars, anything on Amazon, they are all kind of just artificial. Okay, there's no set price, there's no, you know anyway, that's about demand, supply and demand. That's usually that's a theory, how much something costs. Why a diamond costs $1 million while it's basically almost useless to you, and why, you know. Anyway, there's some keyboards, on Amazon that's like 10 years old. I mean, haven't been made for 10 years, but it's very expensive, $500. That's also why some paintings, they cost millions of dollars, but they are literally useless. But they, so anyways, negotiation is part of it's about influencing. I want to make you think, you know something I want to sell is worth 150, but you, on the other hand, you want to make it, you know make me think that it's actually not worth it. So if I you want to make me think that if I can just sell you 100, it's actually good for me, because by whatever means. That's negotiation. Maybe you'll say, okay, it's good for friendship. Come on, I know you for 10 years. Things like that. That's all about negotiation. So that's also about changing other people's thought. So propaganda, marketing, negotiation, and negotiation happens everywhere, and also there's a polemics or the skills to lecture when you talk to a huge great audience, or how politicians how they rise, so all these, I'm interested in these subjects all my life. And let's see, so back to the topic. So yeah, so what I'm saying. So what was the topic before? IQ's. I forgot what was the reason I went in to talk about why, how I have a interest in the marketing propaganda kind of stuff. I forgot what's the topic before that. But anyway, back to intelligence. Okay, so that's exists for sure. Now the social justice guy, they deny it, and it began this their denial of IQ. Okay, it began like in 1990s. Basically, the root of the of that is the postmodernism philosophy in academia. Okay, the postmodernism is kind of oh yeah, so it's kind of the most destructive thing. In fact, now I don't know the actual history of how that philosophy, how that movement came up. For that question, you go watch Jordan Peterson talks, or Camille Paglia, YouTube. Camille Paglia. She calls herself a feminist. She's the first, that like the 30 years ago, that generation of feminists. So she hold that title steadfast, not like today's feminist. So today's feminist is the opposite of her. So anyway, if you want to know the history of postmodernism, those kind of things, you go watch Jordan Peterson or Camille Paglia. But so what I'm saying here about postmodernism, it began, I've seen it, began in 1990s. And so what it is basically they are a destructive. Here's how I describe it. Okay, let me put it my specific way to about what postmodernism is. Okay, my like SAS style. Okay, so postmodernism, it is it's like, suppose we are at war. Okay, suppose you are me are enemies, uh, or suppose we are in competition. We are in competition to see who is the greatest programmer, or who is the greatest orator. Ability to talk, or who is the better leader. Okay, let's say, or anything. In competition. Let's say, we are in competition, fierce competition, or we are in war. Like enemies, like violence. Or we are in boxing fight, whatever. Well, not physical, let's say not physical, just we are in we are enemies. Okay, now the first question of concern to you or me is that how do I win, how do I get you off? You can play by the rules, or you can like in real life, there are no rules. Okay, when you play a chess, when we play a chess, there's a rules. You certain things you cannot do, but that's artificial. You can kind of you can always, because there's no like God that says, once if you do not follow a rule, you get a shock, electric shock or something. That doesn't exist. So in real life, you can do all sort of things. For example, we play chess. For example, I can do psychological tactics. And I notice you get annoyed when people are late, or you start to have anxiety or something. So I'm going to be late for 10 minutes. That's a tactic. Even though technically I did not violate the rules of the chess, but I play this psychology. I'm late for 10 minutes, and I studied you. I noticed you, maybe you find it annoying if people have certain habits. Let's say, uh, some strange habits. So I just I study that. I noticed, and I do that when I play chess. Maybe I start to shake or something. That gets you annoyed. Maybe your concentration fails off. Then you lose. So that those are tactics, kind of outside of the rule. But however, not technically. So in a championship, I can still win by doing these tactics. So that's about rules. So if we are enemy in anything, I the question to me is, how do I win? I'm not, there are certain rules or moral rules, but I don't have to follow it. It depends on you. Depend on you how much you want to break the so-called break. How what kind of tactic you want to use. So so postmodernism, okay. So we are talking about tactics of winning something, anything in competition, or wipe out your enemies in in friendly clash, or in severe. You want to totally entirely wipe out your enemy. So when doing that, when there's a conflict, the first concern is tactics. Strategy. Strategy is long term. Tactics means short term. How do you win it? Now, postmodernism is essentially is kind of a philosophy of tactics, or strategy tactics. Okay, the sole goal is to wipe out your enemy. That is post what that is basically one essential aspect of postmodernism. Okay, and that is what this social justice can. Their theories and whatever they do, their jargons, it's all came from this postmodernism. It's essentially just a tactic. So whatever they say, whatever they create, whatever they do, basically they are a group, maybe students or professors, left wing professors. So they want to think of a way so that whatever they say, they will win. Like a political opinion, they say it, they want to make sure whatever opinion that is, they will win. So how do you do that? Or so how do you do that? You follow the philosophy of postmodernism. That's how you do it. Okay. So their opinions about politics, or their what they say about feminism or whatever, it's never about reason. Okay, like that's why we can see many of them, they don't like to argue, they don't follow stuff, because the soul, the soul goal, the soul essence of postmodernism is to thwart your enemy, to win. Okay, so that is a thing. That's a very interesting thing. So in a sense, it is postmodernism is, you look, like I talked about, how to influence people. Propaganda. You have propaganda. You have brainwashing. You have marketing. You have tact. How to talk smoothly. You have negotiation skills. You look at all these. Okay. You want maybe as a philosopher, you want to think of a way like that, extract them all, create a philosophy such that it contains the kind of the ultimate destruction, like the ultimate tactics, so that doesn't matter what you do in what area, it just wipe out your enemy. That is the essence of postmodernism. Okay. Okay, that's about that. Okay, so back to intelligence. So anyway, obviously it's something that exists, and what were we talking about intelligence for? um, oh yeah, so how to be smarter. Now IQ is born. People are born with IQ. By the way, IQ is also, there's so many things about IQ. It's not, you know, I have a, let's say, relative above average high IQ. Okay, and look at my life. Okay, I am, I'm living in poverty. This shirt, this T-shirt is like 20 years. I'm gonna throw it away after today. Then I'm gonna take a shower. This this shirt is 20 years old. Um, so high IQ doesn't really, it's not like, oh, you have a high IQ. There's a joke. Okay, like there's a rich man, and who met this. Actually, I think that's a real story of some strange architect. Okay, who met this architect, well known, designer, architect of buildings. So the rich man says, like, why aren't you rich yet? And the architect shot back, no, why aren't, then he asked the billionaire, okay, why aren't you smart yet? you know so that exchange, that illustrates how IQ is not, it's not like you have IQ, supposedly high IQ, then you'll be rich or you'll be good. But in general, it helps. Just like money, in general, money doesn't make you happy, but it does help in so many ways. In so many ways, okay. It doesn't really, because if you don't have money, first of all, you're hungry. You don't have food, hungry, or you have more nutrition. That you won't be happy with that. Then you get sick. But if you have some money, just enough to survive, that's money. That is how money, that's one instance of where having money helped you, prevented you from being unhappy. Example. So anyway, high IQ is not something, you just or you just wish you have high IQ and things will be things will be good. No, and also, but it helps. It's a good thing to have. And also, most people, today the social justice guy, they make IQ. I don't feel too comfortable talking about the IQ thing, because I think, because then obviously people think, oh, I think I have a high IQ. It's not a good thing to talk about that. But anyway, it doesn't do you. It's not a magic. Okay. Also, uh, also, I think if this is true statistically. Okay, you have IQ. Let's say, let's say from 0 to 10. Okay, let's just say that scale. So most people are around 5. And so if you are, statistically speaking, if you are above average with IQ, then you tend to be better off, in your life, in your career. You tend to make more money. Okay, but this here's an interesting thing. When your IQ is like 8 or 9, this is something. Maybe it's something just I believe. Okay, when your IQ is like a bit higher, 9, let's say, then statistically, I think there's a study about that. So by statistics, when your IQ is high, you start to not do well, and and suicide rate also becomes higher. Yeah, that's okay. That's my life story. So I've seen this report. I haven't really actually studied it, but despite any possible bias I might have, I might want to believe that. But I think that's, with consideration of that, I think that's a true story. You might have to look up and do research on that. And I believe that's also a point Jordan Peterson mentioned on this about this study of high IQ. In general, higher IQ is good, but once you go a bit higher, you don't do well. Also, let me also mention high IQ does not do you, don't, it's not a magic, right? Okay, a lot, for example, if you look at all the greatest mathematicians in history. Okay, how many people I have watching? Oh, okay, these people are going away. If you look at the history of the great mathematicians, okay, they are not high IQ. Okay, they are just like above average for sure. But they are not high IQ. On the other hand, all the greatest mathematicians accomplished. They have contributed. Incredible theories. They solved problems that's unsolved for hundreds of years. Those mathematicians. The greatest mathematicians in history, their IQ is not like, it's not super high. Okay, like like you can know from studying their biography. So there's like, there's, it's not like they all have super high IQ. On the other hand, when you look at um, like since 50 years ago we start to have IQ tests, so we do know who the people who have really high IQs, like in the top 0.1%. You look at those people in their life, there's no accomplishment. I mean they are not they're not there's they do not become greatest mathematicians, or they do not become the great businessmen such as Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. They do not become that. And I don't know for sure, but I think most of them, they just live a normal life. So anyway, IQ doesn't do you much. And also, yeah, and also it's not, IQ is not something like concrete. It's not it's not like something that can be very precise. So if you are a programmer, you have high IQ. Okay, we have the same IQ basically. Like above average. But you cannot measure, like you cannot measure. Oh, I have higher IQ than you. That doesn't make sense unless there's a huge gap. When there's a huge gap in an IQ, then you can see it without actually testing for IQ. You can just, you talk to people, they feel you are smart, or you feel they are they are some people are not too smart. you know you'll see it. You don't need the IQ test. So I don't I think I had IQ test when I was maybe 15 16 in Montreal or something. I don't remember, but I did my SAT, which is like the SAT score. I have a obsession about studying SAT, so I got like top 10 percent scores in SAT. That's so back then in 1990s, there's Mensa Mensa IQ group. So one of their qualification is that, is if your SAT score is in the top 10 percentile, then you qualify. So I qualified, and I think I applied for a membership. I don't remember, or some but oh yeah, you have to pay though back then. So in 1991 or 1992, you have to pay like, I don't know, $30, or was it $50 back then. So I was a Mensa member for a year. After that, then I didn't pay, so I'm not a member. But then when you are a member, they send you these newsletters. It's kind of silly. Um, so how to become smarter? You cannot, and also you don't necessarily, it's not something you want to. It's it's like how do you become more beautiful? Okay, I want to be, and how do I become younger? I don't want to lose hair. You cannot. So many things you cannot just do it. But and also the question, that we might say that is the wrong question. Because there are so many wrong questions in life. Programmer got the wrong question about which language to learn or which one is the most elegant language. So many wrong questions. You have wrong questions because you have lots of misconception and misinformation, and also the pop. Every day the pop news TV, they feed you bad information, incorrect or misleading information. So, or you have bad friends. For example, if you are young and your neighbors, your friends are gangsters, so then you have bad questions. Like what should I do? So you get bad questions. So if you want to, I suppose the better question is how to, maybe how to become, successful. And usually that's just you just work hard on it, study, work hard, and you know yeah, I mean there are lots of books and talking about that stuff. work hard is the Work hard is fundamental. It's necessary. It's absolutely necessary. Okay, like I don't believe in any tricks. Okay, like if you want to lose fat, do exercise and eat. Don't eat junk food. Eat healthy and exercise. You can lose fat if that's what you want to do. If you are really fat. And but don't, there's a lot of tricks. Eat this fruit, strange fruit, and you'll lose fat. Especially women, because that's their main concern. There's every day there's ads about how to lose fat. That's all bullshit. So I don't buy those tricks. Same thing with programming. You or studying math or anything, you just spend time to study it. So work hard, that's one thing. Also, don't work yourself to death. Okay, I'm like working myself to death for nothing. Okay, that is my fault. But because you cannot just like close the doors and study something for 10 years. That gets you nowhere. You have to be smart. As they say, you work hard, but also you want to do normal things, like talk to people, get people that can help you, or know people, talk to them, things like that. And when you have a job, negotiate. Don't be like don't be like a nerd. Like I'm not. I can just do programming. What do you think you should pay me? Just do that. That's kind of nerd. I'm like that, and that's most people are not like that, unless you are a severe nerd. Okay, so like how much you get paid is almost 90% of it is depends on your skill, of your ability to talk. Not just talk. I mean, what I'm saying is that it does not depends on what you are worth, actual worth, because what you actually are worth, there's no price tag. There is everything. How much you get paid is there's no is I mean, like, there's no God that says you are worth $10,000 a year, something like that. There's no such thing. So all the things about how much you get paid is like it depends on your ability to talk, how you look, how you make other people think, and depending on the situations, maybe you are unlucky today, things like that. So a practical tip. What I'm saying is that, I mean, I don't know you guys. Each person is so different. I don't know what you guys' situation are, uh, and I don't know how old you guys are. Not just you guys, but all the people who might watch me after today. So what I'm saying, but there's a practical tip is that when you uh, I forgot what is that. Well, anyway, just be smart and negotiate. So, as an older person, how did you become involved in technology and coding? I have always been interested in math since I was young. Like since I was 10. So I'm interested in kind of math, and but I didn't go to high school. So I was in Montreal, and so I start kind of late. So only started to actually start to learn things when I was 20. Yeah, essentially, I essentially start to educate, education, like starting from high school education when I was 20. But I love computers very much. I love math and computers, so I just dive into it. In the beginning, so in 1990s, it's mostly I study math. I want to be a mathematician. No, so Norman says, oh, Landon. Okay, so yeah, Landon. So Landon. So what? So you play Fortnite? Can you show us some screenshots? I love to see that. Um, Norman says being persistent and working hard can get a lot harder. Can get a lot farther than a high IQ. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, IQ is just IQ is like the one of the dramatic subject. You know, and the very name IQ, the jargon, intelligence in the IQ, just by the name itself, it's a dramatic subject because just the name, people want to talk about it all the time because it's like a quality, of a person. It's part of just like how good you look, how beautiful you are, or how it's part of your natural part of the person. And I studied, I have been studying about the issue of physical appearance that actually influence people a lot. I mean, it's amazing that not just for girls. Of course, we love beautiful girls. Also, there's a topic of why we love beautiful girls. From the evolutionary biology perspective. But anyway, in general, not just for girls, not just for men picking up girls, but in general, it applies to males as well, males or female. Okay, when you look good, okay, when you are pretty or handsome, it has significant influence, advantageous to you. That is actually true. I didn't know this, but I've studied, I've looked at the articles, and that is actually true, and it's quite significant. And also, there's amazing, also for women, if you have big tits, okay, if you have huge breasts, that is also advantages to you, not just for two men, but two other females as well. They treat you differently, because there's this let's say this is this debunker, what they call it on YouTube. There's a myth buster. They have done experiment, breast size. So they have this girl working in a yeah, here. Do do larger breasts garner larger tips? They did an experiment, and that is actually true. They did this YouTube video. It's kind of amazing. I mean, but it's just, it's not men giving them bigger tits girl more money, but women as well, especially, I think, especially women. So that's a very interesting thing. You have this video you can watch. So yeah, so being beautiful and being have those are social, somehow they those are good social signals. For some reason, they are actually how we are. We promote and we promote those people who have good looks, uh, for some reason. Okay, for the reason about males picking, who for males, liking beautiful women. The reason for that is pretty simple, because usually what basically you are just looking for youth, pretty girls. In general, the younger you are, the prettier you are. Look, when you are older, you have bald hair. You don't look so good. When you are younger, young people, their skin, everything is new. New things look better than older things. Same thing with animals. So younger people, they look better. So why do men want younger girls? Because there's biology. When you are older, women, you can now have babies. So those guys, who prefer younger, who likes younger girls, tends to have more children, because if you fuck a 50 years women, you are not going to have children. So after a few generations, the guys who prefer older women dies off. You don't have children, you you don't pass your genes, you die off. So we got you just got men who really want younger girls. The younger the better, because 2200 years ago, we don't have today's technology. So when you have a baby, you can die. The woman, the woman can die when you have a baby. But the younger the girl is, the more survival. The older is more chance for dying. That is why eventually all the guys want younger girls, prefer younger girls. But why? So on the other hand, women, when they choose mate, when they look for guys, they do not care that much about how a guy looks, or how old is a guy. Why? Because that can also be explained simply because for guys, you don't get pregnant, you don't have this age issue. I'm 50, I can still have babies. You can, some people are 60, 70, even 70 years old, you can still have babies. But your chances are less, of course. But unlike females, for females, when you are 40, you are your chance for baby is almost zero. Especially like 200 years ago, you have to be 200 years ago, girls, they get married when they are 13. When they are 18, it's almost like they are almost like that's the middle age. That yeah. And those 200 years ago, people die when you are 30. So that's the situation. 沙哥你好. So what else? So let's see what else I want to say about this. So yeah. This is why, about why guys likes younger girls, while girls, they don't have that much preference for the age of the guy. But however, what they are looking for, what they really want, is how powerful, how wealthy you are. That's because that is how they can have higher chances for their survival of their children. Because the more powerful the guy is, the more asshole. Yeah, that's why girls, women, they like assholes. They like strong male. They like just assholes, like like the football players, because that signifies those kind of people, guy, assholes. Like I don't care about I just do what I I want, and I can. Nothing you can do. Girls like that, those type of guys, because those guys have power. That's an indication, a characteristics of power and wealth. They have uh, you know they have no problem in survival. So girls like them because then they have children. Their children is more likely to survive because you have this powerful dad, who can do things, provide money or whatever. So the girls, children survives. On the other hand, if you have a girl who prefer, you know, who don't care for the asshole guys, who prefer, the nerd, us types, or the weak, guys, chances are their children, does not survive. Like maybe there's a storm, the guy cannot build a house, or maybe there's a tiger, a lion, or war between, so your children just don't survive. So these kind of girls who like weak guys, they die off. So girls, they want the, they like the asshole. That is the evolutionary biology. So but the thing I don't know is that why in general the good appearance is good. So anyway, saga. So what else? So I think maybe that's it for today. Let's see how many, six people. So guys, say something in the chat. Or I think maybe then maybe we are done. Fake, yeah. Type something. You have like 10 seconds. Am I still actually? Yep. Nut. What nut? So let's see what else. So I'm NUT. So what do you mean nut? Anthem, Panton, Manton. Tim Pool. Tim Pool is a great guy. Okay, if you want to read news, fair news, not fake news, you want to follow Tim Pool. Uh, let me talk about 10 more minutes about what website to read. Okay. Now today there are a lot of websites, like there's the popular website CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, Vox, Vice, all kind of website. Uh, you Most of them are fake news. These corporate fake sites, news sites today are all fake news. I mean, they are all blatantly fake. Usually, when I read a website, even when I go to read a website, I never click. On Twitter or anywhere, I don't click unless I actually know what that website, unless I have studied the background of that website. So for example, New York Times, that is a big name. So I know it's a big giant corporate site. And there are so many websites today. So usually almost they are all fake. So the major fake news website today are CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, Vice, BuzzFeed, uh, The Verge, Gizmodo. I think also including the Crunch. Uh, yeah, they are actually just like they are not just borderline fake. They are actually churning out blatantly false information every day, because they can do that, because and people don't check, because people don't have spend time to uh, actually check what is the what is. I'm gonna answer the question. People don't check. That is why. So these are fake news. Um, and Fox News, of course, Fox News is oriented is more right wing conservative. It's very biased too. Fox News, and but also these fake sites are kind of dying, except the giant ones, New York Times. But most the others are dying. By the way, just if you want to check, if it's good things to follow this guy, Tim Pool. He's an independent journalist, so he always give you a kind of balanced view. So whatever news every day, there's drama every day. Now and then check up on Tim's, what he say. He gets repetitive, and these days he's like making 5 videos per day, so it's very time consuming. These days I just look at the first 2 minutes of his video. He always repeat things. He keeps saying he's a centrist. And, he's an idiot. Not exactly an idiot, but also he's not a scholar or academic. He doesn't have much knowledge. But anyway, he's good at, because that's his job. He look at all the news and he tell you a summary of, and he exposes many fake news. So he's a good reporter or journalist, I would say. I don't like the word journalism, because all those words are just jargon, fake words. What I say is just reporter. He's a good reporter. Okay. And he does videos, and he actually has won awards about his coverage of back in 10 years ago, the Wall Street riot or whatever. So I recommend following him. So question about what time you tend to go live stream. Actually, I don't know. Uh, right, like people have been asking me that. I don't have a schedule. That is the issue. So and I don't have a regular sleeping cycle too, neither. So sometimes I sleep in the daytime, sometimes at night, and it's been like that all my life. I'm 50 years old, so it's been like that all my life. This cycle, it changes. Uh, it switches about few hours every month, and sometimes switch. Is so I don't have a schedule. So I do plan. I might announce a schedule like for this week. 2 o'clock p.m. or something like that. I'm planning on that, because I noticed the problem without a schedule is that people don't know when I'm going to come on. So when I come on, there are no people here. Uh, you know, and also my topics changes drastically. Sometimes it's very technical for programmers. Sometimes it's for random things like today. There's no fixed topic. But some people only wants to watch my Emacs stuff, so that creates a problem. So I don't know. I'm thinking of coming up with a schedule. We'll see. I'll talk about it, or I'll try to announce it. What time zone I'm in? I'm in California, Mountain View, sunny California. I've been here for like for like 30 years, basically all my life. So another problem with my no schedule is that when I do a live show, the first 30 minutes, nobody is here. 3, 4, but after an hour, maybe 6 people. Then after 90 minutes, after an hour, then I have maybe 5, 8 people. But I'm done. I've been talking for 70 minutes. I'm kind of done. Oh, you are in Australia. So how did you follow me? Like, did you know me from my programming stuff, from my Emacs, or other things? So Anton Patton Manton, Anton Patton Manton. So how do you hear about me? I like to know that. Found you from xali.info. Oh, okay. So I guess it's mostly from my programming and math stuff. So are you a programmer? And are you like young people, or are you in your 30s, or are you still in school, or you are like a programmer for decades? So I if you have a question. Oh, you are 15. Wow, amazing. So you are young. So are you like you want to go into programming then? 15 young people is great because 15 years old, I can teach you stuff. I can teach you so many things. Oh, Unicode. Okay. Yeah, Unicode is amazing. So year probably. What do you mean year? Probably. So are you um so so are you a gamer? Are you a are you trying to learn programming, or maybe you already does programming, or like what do you do now? Do you go to school? So anyway, so I think that's about it today. So guys, if you have, so I don't know, I have no idea who you guys are. So just keep comment, type comments. You can ask questions or type your opinions. Anything goes. You go to school, so don't really play many video games. Oh, okay. But I'm just interested in computers in general and music and stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah, so I'm very interested in computers since I was a teen, but I start really late. Basically I started my high school education when I was 21. I didn't go to high school actually, but I passed, the GED exam in USA. In USA, you have this GED exam, which stands for General Education uh, Development. I think that's an exam. If you pass, they give you a certificate, which means high school graduate, high school equivalent. Then you can go through, I passed GED when I was like 21 or 22. I think I still have the photo of that certificate somewhere. Uh, yeah, so when I was 21, so I went to community college over here, for here college, but mostly I studied on my own computers, programming and stuff. So yeah, programming is a good thing to get into, I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay, programming. I mean, depending on you. Okay, your personality, who you are, your dad, your mom. Your environment where you grew up. So it kind of depends on you. But for me and for a lot of my followers, they are programmers. Hi, Daniel. And I think so. Programming is great, or great to get into because that gives you a good uh, stable job, programming, and for the future, because as technology, we are in this AI age. No, I don't use QWERTY. I use Vorak. I showed my keyboard many times, so this is the keyboard I'm using. So you can see that's my mouse. That's my Kinesis keyboard. You can just search my name, Xali Keyboard, and I have lots of reviews. And I'm drinking. This is tea here. Uh, I don't use QWERTY. I was a QWERTY typist back in 1987, but I learned Dvorak in 1994. To study computer science, you must learn binary systems. Yes. Oh, you use Walkman layout. Okay, so you are advanced. You are a advanced keyboard enthusiast. Yeah, Walkman layout is one of the alternative layout, and it's great. So let's go to XR keyboard. So keyboard layout, alternative keyboard layout. So there's QWERTY, there's Dvorak, and there is Walkman. Comac is very popular. So this is Comac, and there is Walkman. Walkman is a supposedly a improvement over Comac. So can I ask you, how did you decide you want to use Walkman layout? So have you tried Comac and Dvorak? Oh, so you use modified Walkman. RSI at the age of 15. Oh my God. How did you get that? So you are doing a lot with computers, but you don't play much games. So you are doing programming. You already a programmer. Oh, okay, yeah. So Danielle says I started with Dvorak a few weeks ago and can go 35 to 40 word per minute. I'm right at the point of going cold turkey with it. Cool. So you began Dvorak. Cool. Danielle, you right? Yeah. So yeah, that's great. Writing QWERTY right now. Oh my God. So you are trying to do both. No, that's no good. Well, I mean, well, it's not no good, but it's not. It's usually if you want to learn a new layout, it's the recommendation is usually to go cold turkey, because if you try to still do both, that you become that slows down your learning process. It's significantly so much so, like 3 times, 4 times, because you do not build the muscle memory, because your muscles are trying to learn both ways. So Heinrich Muller says, I actually haven't tried anything outside of QWERTY and Walkman. I jumped directly to Walkman since QWERTY was really uncomfortable, and it's good enough for me so that I haven't given anything else a try. Oh, so you also use Walkman. Amazing. So Heinrich Muller. So we have new people here. Amazing. On keyboard layouts. I sometimes have to use other computers with, yeah. So I learned QWERTY again. Yeah, that's a problem. That is the problem. So let's talk about keyboard for maybe layout for 10 minutes. Then we are done for today. So the problem with the QWERTY, if you don't know the subject, the problem with the QWERTY is that the arrangement of the letters are not efficient. I mean, the history of it, of the QWERTY, why the letters on a keyboard are arranged the way they are, and that arrangement is called QWERTY. The reason, but why is it arranged that way? The history is kind of complicated, but basically it's to prevent key jams on a mechanical typewriter. Back 200 years ago. But anyway, but that arrangement stuck. We learned that habit, and so even today we have that arrangement. But it's inefficient. So a efficient alternative is Dvorak, where, for example, on the Dvorak layout, all the vowels are on the left hand home row. A, O, E, U, I, and the most frequently used consonant letters are on the right hand home row. So that means that you do not, when you type, you don't have to move your fingers much, up down. So the most frequently used letters are on the home row. So that's Dvorak. And over the years, many people have created many different new layouts. So people have created new layouts that are also efficient. People create new layout because they believe, you know, they don't think Dvorak is the most optimal, so they create. Actually, they are all pretty much the same. The newer ones, okay, Dvorak, Comac, Workman, all these new layout, they are pretty much equivalent. Okay, there's actually no, you cannot say one is better than the other. There are so many ways to measure which one is better, but it depends on how exactly you measure it. How exactly you measure it, and the difference, the efficiency, the result comes out, the score, they differ in minor details, because if you change the input, you know if you change what programming languages you use, or if you change different input text, the score becomes different. So in one instance of measurement, Workman is better than, say, Dvorak or Comac. If you change the input, then Comac is better, things like that. So they are kind of all different, or pretty much pretty much similar. So you have all these modern new variations. Now let me talk about the RSI problem, the repetitive strain injury. That actually do not have much to do with keyboard layout. Actually, um, if you have RSI, the most important thing is to get a ergonomic keyboard with mechanical key switch. That is the most important thing. There is no proof that a keyboard layout, such as Dvorak or the Comac, will actually reduce RSI. Um, it you know it Logically it helps because it reduces finger movements, but there's no scientific proof. Also, there's not much stories from people that actually says that. However, there are a lot of stories about using a ergonomic keyboard that actually do help in reducing RSI, repetitive strain injury. So that is about that. Then why do people want to use why do you want to learn Dvorak or others? Well, that's because it actually is more comfortable for your fingers. So that's the thing. And but there are also some other issues. For example, there are inconveniences. For example, if you go to a library, or if you are working with your coworkers, or your family, your members may not be able to type on your keyboard. Like every time you go to a library or anywhere public, you cannot touch type because they are using QWERTY. Then you have a problem whether you want to learn QWERTY again, or there are these kind of inconveniences. So let's read some comments, and that'll be a tip for today. Yep. Have you ever tried something like Plover or any form of stenotype? No, and I don't recommend it. But I talked about this 2 days ago, like for a whole hour about that. Now, don't recommend Prover at all. In fact, it's going to make it's the fastest way to get repetitive strain injury. Okay, I talked about like an hour 2 days ago. Check out my early videos. Uh, so I don't Prover is just a bad thing. It's extremely bad. Um, if you want to do anything like that, I recommend, let's see, let's go to my articles. I recommend you actually pick up a stenotype machine like that. Okay, don't use the don't use computer PC keyboard to type, to type the steno system. That's really bad. Okay, I think that's about it for today. So let's see the where is the article about keyboards? Yeah, last week, somewhere here, I talked about that a lot. You have to just search it on YouTube. Anyway, I'm getting tired, so that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Great to meet some of you new guys, and Landon from Japan. So, bye. See you guys.